The United States is not seeking a war with Iran, but we are prepared to finish one.
Tonight, Iran made good on its threat to attack U.S. targets in Iraq in retaliation for the U.S. killing its top general. Iran fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles into 2 air bases in Iraq housing American troops. Those moments were caught on camera. The U.S. Defense Department is evaluating the damage so far. There are no reports of injuries. The news comes hours after President Trump defended his decision to target General Soleimani.
He was a monster, and he's no longer a monster. He's dead. He was planning a very big attack and a very bad attack for us and other people, and we stopped him.
Democrats are considering resolutions to limit the president's ability to take military action against Iran. It is unlikely to pass in the Republican-controlled Senate. The president tweeted that he will make a statement tomorrow, and that all is well. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Brianna Whitney, who spoke with ASU's Center on the Future of War about what could happen next. Brianna?
Well, the center's co-director says what the U.S. does next is critical and needs to be well thought out. He says the key now is de-escalation, but believes Iran's attack and response is far from over.
In the wake of Tuesday's missile attack, the world now waits for what may come next.
It's a scary time for the world, but I don't believe we see tonight the full scope of what Iran will do.
Daniel Rothenberg is a director at ASU Center on the Future of War and says last week's fatal airstrike that killed Iranian General Soleimani was the start of an unparalleled chapter in America's military history.
It's an unprecedented act. The U.S. purposefully targeted and killed with a drone strike one of the most significant players within the Iranian government.
Rothenberg says he expected Iran would respond and says they're so powerful they could have targeted more areas than just the 2 Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops. But he says we're not just looking at missiles. Iran has the ability to do so much more.
Through cyber attacks, through the use of proxies, through kidnappings, through economic activities.
He says the U.S. needs to be strategic and thoughtful in how our country responds to negotiate and de-escalate this now, because he says if this gets more violent, it will be near impossible to control.
There's going to be more strikes, more attacks, more violence, but let's hope that calmer minds will de-escalate the situation.
He also says this is not a time to be partisan because, quote, war is not partisan in practice. He really stresses the need for the United States to curtail the situation now before there are more violent attacks and casualties.